Welcome, friends, to the wordcloud tarot show, direct from the Tarotdrome here in cyberspace, in front of an audience of tarot cartoons. Today is Tuesday the 16th of April 2024, and last weekend Iran launched hundreds of drones and missiles into Israel's territory. What's going on with that? Let's do a tarot reading to find out. We'll use this. It's the wordcloud tarot Happy Toast deck. Each card has a drawing by the amazing Happy Toast, plus the meaning of the card is written onto each card itself in a word cloud. That makes our reading very transparent. You can see that the cards mean what we say they mean. Today we'll do the usual 5-card spread. So let's go! Okay, the first card represents history. Let's see what that card is. It's the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight is a contemplative, conscious, diligent, educated fellow, and here he represents the uneasy truce between the nations in recent history. It's an opportunistic truce, sure, it's accepting only in a dutiful, equanimous way that even if the countries can't be friends, at least they can find purposeful advantage in not fighting each other, in gathering a pious peace dividend. It's the realization that even just financial incentives demand more munificence towards each other. To call it benevolent or magnanimous or altruistic is definitely an exaggeration, but you get the idea. This is a methodological, enterprising peace. Barely stable, but at least they weren't blowing each other up all that much. Okay, the next slot is the external slot, and the card for the external slot is the Six of Cups. It's pleasure. Externally, this looked like a saccharine mawkish bliss. I mean, we're exaggerating again, clearly. It's not that there's an enthusiasm to be together. This isn't love and passion and delight, even from the outside, but it's that sort of direction, you know? Perhaps a fondness in its infancy, an anticipation of honesty and sincerity at least. There is some pleasure in peace with your enemy. The next card is the card for the hidden slot. So in the hidden position we have, it's the Ten of Wands, oppression. It might look like there's pleasure, but there is in fact much repression, not even all that deeply hidden. There's colonial subjugation, there's brutal enslavement, there's injustice and tyranny and pain. The authoritarian surveillance fascists persecute their victims on both sides of the borders. Even during peace, there are protesters in chains, there's statutory pressure, there's onerous responsibility and confinement and obligation and entrapment and hardship. These two states may project some apparent peace dividend and pleasure, but it's an uneasy accord. The government oppression and tension lie under the surface. So up next, it's the card for this present moment. This is what's happening right now, and that is... it's the Hanged Man, the 12th trump card. There's an interruption and incomprehension. An understanding is renounced and abjured. The peace is relinquished. Under attack, people cede the peace and suspend their goodwill. They forgo insight and they denounce instead of forgiving. Their devotion leads to suspension of law, to disdain in their perception of others' viewpoints, to indifference and detachment. People feel nonchalance for implications, and that makes them abdicate responsibleness and abandon peace. Inevitably, it leads to disaster, to catastrophe, to escalation. Okay, it's time for the final card that tells us the outcome of all this. And that is, it's the Five of Cups, known as disappoint. When people abandon care for consequences and seek revenge for oppression instead of furthering the peace, they will indeed be disappointed. They are heading for calamity. The cycle of injury and revenge will lead to bereavement, to sorrow, to despair, trauma and sadness and misfortune, heartache and misery, anguish and loss. Each escalation leads to more frustration and treachery and disappointment, and yet more dismay and desperation and unhappiness. The outcome of losing sight of your enemy's humanity is deception, wariness, and regret. So, in summary then, relations between the nations were more diligent and opportunistic than friendly, but purposeful peace was being pursued. It looked like it was going okay, with some anticipation of cooperation in its infancy, but really, under the surface, there's lots of unaddressed oppression and suffering. It's a powder keg, and even the smallest betrayal or interruption, a single hanged man can relinquish that hold on peace. Then the cycle of disappointment and injury and revenge destroys everything. The key is de-escalation, the addressing of the oppression, understanding and reluctance for revenge. Only that can give a peace dividend, not an eye for an eye, but maybe just one eye for every two. I note that the cards don't say who swung that first hanged man, and that every state in the region and beyond is guilty of all kinds of oppression. I don't think the cards here cast more judgment upon either side unless they fail to de-escalate, fail to seek ways to address oppression, and instead continue that cycle of revenge. So that's what the cards tell me anyway. You can get a deck to see what the cards tell you from wordcloudtarot.com. There you can also join the mailing list to be notified of new episodes, or you can follow us on the Fediverse at wordcloudtarot at wordcloudtarot.com, or on PeerTube at wordcloudtarot@dalliance.net. We also cross-post to these horrible private financial extraction machines at YouTube, TikTok and Rumble, though I suspect this one will probably be deleted from TikTok. So thanks for watching. If you thought this was fun or good or true or weird, tell a friend. They almost certainly haven't seen it. Until next time, farewell.